Are you looking for something nutrient dense and easy to grow? Well, look no further. Today I'm going to show you how to grow radish microgreens right in your very own home. After you're done watching this video, you will have been given all the steps that you need in order to grow your very own radish microgreens at home. Let me show you how I do it. Okay, so here I have everything you will need. You are going to need a small container with a lid. An old food container, Tupperware works perfect for this as long as it's pretty shallow. This is maybe about 1 inch deep and that'll work just fine here. Now if you don't have a lid, you could also use a piece of plastic wrap. Just make sure to poke some holes in it so that you get some air circulating through your microgreens. You're also going to need some water, some potting soil. This is just regular basic potting soil. You could use seed starting mix if you wanted to. I never have, and it's been fine. The only thing that I recommend is that don't just go and dig up soil from your backyard or something, because it has to be sterile. If not, you're going to have a bunch of random seeds in there or grass seeds, and it's just going to be a nightmare trying to separate them from your microgreens. And last but not least, you will need some radish seeds here. So let's go ahead and get started. So first you're going to fill your container with soil. A nice even layer. You don't need too much. And I'm leaving about 1/2 inch of room at the top. Okay, next you're going to scatter your radish seeds, and you want to sow these pretty densely, much more densely than you would if you were simply just planting seeds to grow actual radishes, because you're not going to let these microgreens get very big, and they won't need a lot of room between them. So the more the better here. And in fact, if you have radishes in your garden that are sending up flowers, you can check out this video where I show you how to harvest the seeds. And if not, buying the seeds is perfectly fine here. Okay, we have our seeds spread out densely in a nice even layer. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit more soil to the top. I'm going to remove, like, here's a big piece of twig here. I'm going to take that out just so it doesn't crush these delicate microgreens. Okay, so we'll pack it very lightly. There's another stone. I'm going to take that out. There we go. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Now this soil was already somewhat damp, so I'm not going to add too much water. You really don't want this dripping wet because otherwise you risk the seeds getting moldy. So just a little bit there. Okay, and that's it. So I have my lid. Notice I'm just going to place the lid on top. I'm not even going to close it fully because I do want some air getting in. So that's why I mentioned earlier, if you're using plastic wrap, definitely make sure you poke holes in it. You're all done. Super simple, right? Now, just put it in, for me, I put it on my windowsill. With microgreens, the key elements here are a little bit of moisture and warmth. So sunlight doesn't come into play as much as if you were growing regular plants, but it will need a little bit of sunlight. Now, I would check on it every day, and you want to make sure that the soil doesn't get too dried out. If it does, then your microgreens aren't going to grow. But again, when you water them, do it very sparingly. Just a teeny tiny bit will do it, and if you have a misting bottle, that might work even better for you. Okay, we're all done. Now let's see what they look like in a week. If you're finding this video helpful, feel free to give it a like. And these are my microgreens after about a week or so. Pretty cool, right? So now you have your microgreens ready to go. I like to give them a little brush like this. One, because it's fun, and two, because it knocks off some of the partial pieces of seed here. And like we were mentioning before, I'll try to get to zoom in here so you could really see it, but they don't have their first true leaves yet. They just have the cotyledons here. So that's what we're looking for. This is when they're gonna taste the best. So that's great. So I like to think of this like giving them a haircut. You're just gonna go along and snip a little bit off as you go and place it into your bowl. And it's really just as simple as that. These microgreens are wonderful. They're really versatile, and you can sprinkle them on soups, stews, you know, roast chickens, whatever you want, really. The sky's the limit when it comes to what you can use these as a garnish on. And we even put these on top of our dog's meals because she is spoiled. I will keep doing this until I have cut the entire container off. Okay, all of our microgreens are now in this bowl, and I'm going to fill this bowl with water and let it soak. And the few bits of soil that are remaining are just going to sink down to the bottom, and what you're left with are fresh, clean microgreens. You can let them dry a little bit on a clean cloth or napkin, and then you can just put them in a plastic bag. I prefer using a plastic container, like a Tupperware. And these are so delicate that a structured container will prevent them from getting crushed by the other things that are going to be in your fridge. So that's why I prefer a hard container. And I also find that they keep the microgreens fresher for longer. They should store for up to a week. You might get more days out of it, but about a week is a good estimate. You can use this exact process with many other seeds. I use this for sunflower seeds, broccoli, kale, your imagination's sort of the limit here. And some people love arugula microgreens, which I haven't tried yet, but I look forward to trying them. If you have tried them, let me know in the comments section below. You know, these radish microgreens are really great. They're kind of zesty and spicy, and they're a nice little pop of freshness. Right now it's the winter, so we've been using a lot of frozen produce that we froze from our summer haul. So it was nice to have a little pop of green somewhere. Growing microgreens is one of my 3 tips to get your garden started. If you want to learn what the other 2 are, go ahead and check out this video that's coming up right now. I'll see you over there.